Hello, emerging leader inner circle. I wanted to do this teaching because it ties into what we've been talking about in our comfort zone and getting outside of our comfort zone into our terror barrier. And so it's so important to get to know human psychology and the human element of our minds that goes on with every one of us. And anytime we want to change, anytime we want to create change and get outside of our comfort zone and push through the terror barrier, we have a lot of things that are going on in our mind. And so I want to talk about that today in this just brief teaching about something that is really, really important, especially when we're looking at affecting change, whether it's organizational change, and quite frankly, organizational change is people change, because as organizations, we're all made up of people. We're all humans. And so we have this human mind element that I think we really need to grasp and really understand so that we can affect the change that we want. So I'm going to do a little bit of drawing here on my office wall, my dry erase wall. And I'm going to create this symbol of our mind. And so this is to represent the mind. And essentially, we have two parts of our mind. And actually, I'm going to create this little stick person here. We'll just put a couple of feet here and some hands. So this stick person here is represented, and this is the mind. This is representing the mind. And so there's two parts to our mind, and that we have to take into account when we're thinking about the people that we lead, and really even ourselves as we get to want to change and go through our terror barrier. You see, the one thing that we know is that our goals are on the other side of our terror barrier. We have to get outside of our comfort zone and push through this to get into our goals. So it's important to know that there's two parts to our mind. So there's the conscious mind, and I'm just going to abbreviate here, conscious mind, and then the subconscious mind. Some people will call it the other than conscious mind. And so the thinking part of us, the part that where we think our thoughts and the things that we're just going through our minds right now, consciously are up here, and we have thoughts in our minds that come through, and this is the place where we do our thinking. The subconscious mind, however, is our programming. So this is where we've been programmed. So what's interesting to note is that as children, our minds are in a theta brainwave state, and so everything, as a matter of fact, in a child's mind, there really is only the subconscious mind. And so for children, everything is going into this part of the mind, this subconscious mind, and being programmed. So this is where our habits lie. Our habits are in our subconscious mind. So H for habits. So the conscious mind is where we think, and this is where we have our thoughts. The subconscious mind is where we have our feelings that then get expressed in the body. And so thoughts to feelings, the feelings get felt in our bodies, which create our actions, results, which create our results. So our thinking goes on in our conscious mind. Our feelings are from our programming, from the things that have been put into our subconscious mind when we were little children that we had no power over. So those feelings then get expressed through our body in our actions, which cause our results. So I wanted just to go through this very simple diagram with you so that you start to begin to understand that if we want to get through our terror barrier and we want to get to our goals, so whatever the vision is for you, for your leadership, for the company that you work for, if we want to affect change, we have to realize that each one of us goes through this process, and we have this in place. We have a conscious mind where we have our thoughts that get matched up against our programming, and that programming then gets expressed through our body and creates our actions that lead to our results. So, if we want to have different results, then we have to take different actions, and we have to program our mind for different habits. So we have to create different habits, and in order to do that, we have to change our thoughts and we have to change our thinking. Now, this is really important because every one of us, if we want to have change, if we've got a big goal that we presently don't have, there's a gap between where we are and where our goals are. We have to be able to change our habits, change our programming, and in order to do that, we have to change our thoughts. Now, how do we do that? How do we change our programming? I'm not going to go into a lot of the details of this right now. We'll probably get into this a little bit more later on. However, in order to affect our programming, we have to create repetition. So if any of you have heard me talk about the 8-step framework for a high-performing culture, the second step is creating a ritual, creating repetition, so that we can program into us the behaviors that we want in our culture. The same thing is true in our minds. We have to repeat things over and over and over again. And when it's coupled with something very important, this is what helps us to have our habits stick and really create strong habits, and that is our emotions. So when repetition is combined with emotions or our feelings, then we can reprogram our mind so that we can get the different results expressed through our body, through our actions, and get different results. So I wanted just to share this with you today because it really has a profound impact on getting through the terror barrier. I know we talked about this in the past. And if you want to think about it this way, this here, our subconscious mind, is our status quo. Put another way, this is our comfort zone. Our current state of programming is our comfort zone. So if we want to be able to get outside of our comfort zone, we have to reprogram our mind, our subconscious mind, and we have to create new habits. And we do that through repetition combined with emotion, strong emotion, so that we can build our actions and get different results. I hope this is helpful as you start to begin to understand the people aspect of getting outside of our comfort zone, going through our terror barrier, getting uncomfortable and really being able to be comfortable being uncomfortable and affecting change. Change not only in our own personal lives, but also in the lives of the people that we lead. So I hope this is helpful. Feel free to shoot me questions. I'm sure that we'll go into this a little bit more in detail, and I'm only sharing just kind of the tip of the iceberg with this whole idea with our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. It's a really interesting subject, one that I've studied a lot, and one that I really have found to be very, very impactful, especially in creating new habits and creating the results that we want and that I want, and I know that you want. So I hope this is helpful. Share some comments, shoot me a note, let me know if you have questions. And we'll see you next time on the Emerging Leader Inner Circle.